Why do people not like the last 9 chapters of Black Clover? I'm talking chapters 247 through 255. See, people, they don't like these chapters. At least not the majority of people. They loved the stuff with Zenon, and so did I. They loved the stuff with Asta, Yami, and Dante, and again, so did I. But for some reason, people just don't like the Noelle and Vonica stuff as much. And that, my good friends, is a boat you will not find me aboard. See, I enjoy these chapters a lot. These chapters are actually a bit more impactful, in my opinion, than chapters 234 through 239 or 240 through 246. Now, I tend to have slightly controversial opinions, some of which majority of people agree with and some that they don't, but I'm hoping that those of you watching that disagree with my opinion can come to see my perspective. People did not like the last 9 chapters, but I loved them. So, right off the bat, one of the big issues people have with these chapters is that it happened right smack dab in the middle of Yami and Dante's fight. Like, 240 through 246 is the Dante stuff, but it doesn't actually get resolved in those chapters, and then suddenly we're just at the Heart Kingdom. Now, I'm defending these chapters, don't get me wrong, but even I can't deny that that was a little surprising and maybe a bit jarring. So, these chapters are poorly placed? Maybe a little, but unlike many people who were underwhelmed by the content of these chapters, I found the events of these 136 pages to be exhilarating and refreshing. I also love the bigger character focus these chapters give, as it follows the trend the time skip has been setting for Black Clover as a whole, which is the trend of super interesting stuff we've been dying to see happening to almost every single character at some point. Say that 3 times fast. Think about it. We got the scoop on Yuno's past, we got a hint at Asta's past, we got more insight as to how Astyr ended up facing Magicula, we got to see Leopold start to get over his issues with confidence and inferior feelings, we got to see Locke fight for the sake of others instead of for the sake of fighting and winning, which was to please his dead mother, and we got to see Charmy fight with other things on her mind besides food. Although it was definitely in there as well, which I believe is because we're gonna get some even juicier development for her in the future. We even get to see Klaus get an all-around respectable takedown, and we also get a pretty big glimpse at Gray's past. In other words, the time skip has been doing great things in regard to the cast of the series and how they develop. But notice how half of that was from the Heart Kingdom attack mini arc. These chapters did so much more for the characters involved than the other attack arcs, so to speak, ever did. Not that those weren't significant to the story as well, because they were and are, but there's just so much meat added to these events by showcasing the development our characters have undergone. This is why I don't agree with the criticism that it shouldn't have focused so much on these extra characters. Their development was very necessary and wonderful to see, at least if you ask me. And frankly, I think we should all be happy Tabata even wants to develop his whole cast and not just the main characters. Not every manga does this. Another problem people have with these chapters is the power scaling. And I'm not this power scaling elitist who obsesses over feats and rages at the sight of any flaw in power scaling for a series, as long as it's not as abysmally bad as Boruto and Kid Naruto beating a supposedly god-level alien at maximum power with a friendship Rasengan. I tend not to get too mad at a fight, even if flaws are present. However, I don't even feel the power scaling is really off. See, these characters have been training their butts off, and although the point of a time skip is to allow development to happen without showing each little bit of it, stuff still happened in those 6 months. Like, a lot of stuff. And we've been seeing little glimpses of it through flashbacks where things are explained and given context. These flashbacks are most likely going to be shown in the anime during the canon filler arc the anime is currently in. And I love that, because it means we'll still be getting some manga content in this arc, giving anime-onlys a reason to watch this arc despite it being canon filler. But anyway, ever since the time skip started, we've been seeing the fruits of this training, and these chapters, just like 229 through 246, display this with great emphasis. Only this time, the enemies our protagonists are taking down are supposed to be stronger than the Dark Disciples we were introduced to earlier on in the arc. Like this guy, who could only use 40% of the Devil's power Zenon gave him, while Sven Svenken could use 50%, which is what Zenon said he should bring next time. Now, this wouldn't be such a big deal, but as we saw in chapter 236, Yuno was able to take down that guy whose name I can't really say, I'm sorry. And in chapter 248, Luck was able to beat Svenken, meaning either Yuno hasn't grown much, or Luck has just become so freakishly powerful that his strength is on par with Yuno's, despite how much weaker he was than Yuno before. In fact, it wouldn't just be Luck, the same thing would go for Leopold and Charmy. Well, we have to remember what Sakurai says in chapter 226, and I quote, "Ability alone isn't a true measure of our power." This statement alone explains the inconsistencies that occur in chapters 247 through 250 regarding the extra fights outside of the main brawl between Noelle and Vanica. This is not Dragon Ball Z, where power level is everything. There is some thought and preparation that went into the victories of our protagonists, and we also haven't seen the extent of their training. So for all we know, this could all be explained in a way that makes everyone happy when that time comes. Finally, another thing that has bothered people about these chapters is the overabundance of plot convenience. Is there a little to be found? Yeah, a little bit. Vanica suddenly remembering Asir all the way down to her name, the name of the spell she used, and the events that took place when they fought so many years ago after fighting Noelle, but not during the fight, as well as Vanica suddenly deciding to not kill Loropechka, is a bit convenient, and that's undeniable. But outside of that, what plot convenience is there? Seriously, I'm asking you, tell me in the comments what plot convenience you believe there to be in these chapters that can't be explained in a way that feels natural. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. If there's anything else people don't like about these chapters, I'm yet to hear about it, aside from the Spirit Guardians being defeated, which is explained with the reveal that the Dark Disciples Vanica picked can be brought back to life as long as she's alive. Meaning the Guardians were probably strong enough to beat the Disciples, but couldn't keep going after they were revived. So besides awkward placement of these chapters, there really isn't anything wrong with them. And for the most part, the only criticisms you can make is that you don't like them, which I guess is up to you. But if you enjoyed the series up to this point, why wouldn't you like these chapters? They're hype. They showcase some characters we haven't seen in a hot minute doing some absolutely epic stuff. And we get to see more development added to the pile Noelle is already stacked up, which only works to solidify her as the most well-written character in the entire series. And if that wasn't enough, we learn more about the Dark Triad and what their goal is, along with what they're capable of. If you ask me, these chapters are about as good as any we've gotten during the time skip, and better than quite a lot of the Elf Saga. But that's just me. You can feel how you want to feel about them, and if you hate them, then fine, whatever. You keep going while I enjoy me some more of my favorite manga. That's about all I've got for today. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new here, and hit that bell with your anti-magic sword. It is greatly appreciated and only helps to support this channel. With that, I gotta skedaddle, but I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!